The head of the United Nations, António Guterres, has warned that further escalation in the Russia-Ukraine conflict could mean that the world is heading towards a wider war. He added that the world is facing a convergence of challenges unlike any in our lifetimes, and expressed fear as the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine approaches. In a speech to the 193-member UN General Assembly on Monday, presenting his 2023 priorities, Guterres decried the Russian invasion of Ukraine, saying that the war was inflicting untold suffering on the Ukrainian people with profound global implications. Secretary General António Guterres said that the experts who surveyed the state of the world in 2023 set the doomsday clock at 90 seconds to midnight, the closest ever to total global catastrophe. He pointed to the war in Ukraine, runaway climate catastrophe, rising nuclear threats, the widening of gulf between the world's haves and have-nots, and the epic geopolitical divisions undermining the global solidarity and trust. The Secretary General laid out his priorities for the year in a gloomy speech to the UN General Assembly. We have started 2023 staring down the barrel of confluence of challenges unlike any in our lifetimes, he told diplomats in New York. We need to wake up and get to work, he implored as he read out a list of urgent issues for 2023. Top of the list was Russia's war in Ukraine. The nearly year-long conflict has been intensifying in the recent weeks with fierce battles between Ukrainian and Russian forces for control of towns in eastern Ukraine. The prospects for peace keep diminishing. The chances of further escalation and bloodshed keep growing, the UN Secretary General said. I fear the world is not sleepwalking into a wider war. I fear it is doing so with its eyes wide open. More broadly, Guterres denounced a lack of strategic vision and a bias of political and business decision makers towards the short term. Stressing the need to act with future generations in mind, the Secretary General repeated his call for a radical transformation of global finance. Something is fundamentally wrong with our economic and financial system, Guterres said, blaming it for the increase in poverty and hunger, the growing gap between rich and poor, and the debt burden of developing countries. Aside from the war in Ukraine, Guterres referenced other threats to peace, from the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to Afghanistan, Myanmar, the Sahel, and Haiti. If every country fulfilled its obligation under the UN Charter, the right to peace would be guaranteed, he said. Guterres also sounded the alarm on Monday about the threats posed by climate change. Donetsk Governor Pavlo Kyrylenko on Monday said that the battle for the eastern Ukrainian region is heating up, with the Russian forces throwing new units into the battle and eradicating our towns and villages. Moscow's military campaign has suffered numerous setbacks as Western powers provide financial and military support to Kyiv. Russian officials have argued that sending arms to Ukraine is prolonging and intensifying the conflict.
Subscribe to One India channel and never miss an update.